So this video is about depending of your status in the Philippines, how you gonna approach and follow and comply with this law, the new guideline for YouTubers, for people who are really blogging in a regular basis. And when I'm talking about the status of your own situation, of course, each one of us, I'm talking about, of course, foreigners or expats or immigrants or people who wasn't any, anybody who's not born in mainland Philippines. Of course, there are cases in which, uh, if you can apply asylum laws, I mean, which is very rare, or people who gain citizenship in the Philippines, in special, very special occasion. I mean, if you really are a powerful person or very influential in a way that you have special, talent. There is, of course, there's exceptions to how you can become a Filipino citizen. Um, I'm saying this because the guidelines, the new guideline that just announced this month in May or June, this month of June 2025. Verily, I mean, it's if you are a foreigner who is, an expat or an immigrant, I'm gonna, lay down that too. I mean, what's the difference between being an immigrant or just being an expat or being a tourist? I mean, of course, in all these three categories I'm mentioning, different status, being a tourist and visitor for, if a few weeks, if you come, just for to the Philippines, just for like a honeymoon for a couple of weeks, because you are on a vacation from your job in, wherever you're coming from, Australia or the United Kingdom or United States, Canada. I mean, you come to a vacation for a couple of weeks and you just enjoy the resort, enjoy the weather, enjoy the everything that we know. If you're, just visiting them just to have a, it's just one more visit that you're making, just like you go to the Caribbean for the weekend or go to the Caribbean twice a year for a family vacation. That's what it is. So this, you don't have to like. So this law, this new guideline doesn't really has nothing to do, almost nothing to do with you, except that if you are taking a video or taking pictures, family pictures at a resort, and if somebody's face is there, somebody's present, or in a case that, and but you're not gonna you don't have a YouTube channel. People do that and enjoy, like a family album, like a diary of your vacation. That's a different situation, right? So you just you want to come back home and show your video, you short video at the resort in the Philippines, and just show it to grandma. I mean, your relative or friends in a private, situation in which nobody's gonna see it anyway, and nobody else is gonna see it besides just your family. But it's not going to be like a broadcast or posted like in a YouTube channel, so the whole planet can see it, right? The whole world can see what that you're there, you're on a video in which you didn't consent to be on that video, and now you are there. And of course, many people don't want to be on video, but most people, I mean, the Philippines, of course, they wave sometimes, and you passing by, even passerby or the people standing, or bystanders, they don't mind really. So, but well, we have to follow the law, follow the guidelines. I mean, that's no question. But the difference between being just an occasional vacation, that you're taking a vacation with a family vacation for a couple of weeks, and being now an expat is a different story. An expat comes, like you even not just retirees. Some people who are digital nomad that work with their computers. Right? They work at, they work for an American company, overseas, but they stay and live, as an expat in the Philippines or in any country in Southeast Asia. But so you have there are those kind of special visas that you allow you to stay there for a year, 2 years, and then you have to renew it or leave the country. In the Philippines case, you just leave after 3 years. You have to leave physically, and come back again and do it over and over again. So in this situation like this, many people have been doing that for years, even 10, 15 years. So you never become anything that just after 10 years, 15 years, you're still a visitor. I mean, basically just a guest. I mean, that sounds like sounds fancy being a guest, being a visitor, sounds fancy. But after you have blended with the community, even learn the language, learn some Tagalog and the other language that's spoken in the land. Being, having even children, you still, even after you having, three, four kids in the Philippines, born in the Philippines, you're still a guest. I mean, only the one that's born there, of course, he has a full citizenship, but you still have like uh, the same status. You never become like even if you get the residence card. I mean, you're still there renewing it, renewing, paying. You still have to renew it all over. Every now and then to renew it until when. So it's very rare that expats or visitors or tourists become really Filipino citizens. In some cases do, but I'm talking about for most in most cases. Now, as an immigrant, of course, if you really become an immigrant, means that you have obtained really the status, full 100% status, just like any other Filipino that you have obtained, the Filipino citizenship, in which really you are very much under the law. You have been naturalized, of course. You have the same rights, full 100% rights. Uh, and that's the difference between having full 100% rights and just being an expat. An expat could be just having the retirement visa. I mean, especially of course visa, in which you're fulfilling all the requirements, which in Filipino cases is very much you just keep paying and paying and paying, and of course having a good pension that even just in social security money, with social security money you can still keep paying, and nothing really happens. And if you're making your YouTube money, I mean, which most which some people do, of course, I'm not saying everybody's doing it, but many people are doing it, to supplement their income, basically. Because if you have a low social security check or pension, like $1,000 or less, you can still supplement your income with doing YouTube. But now then, in other countries like Thailand, and I mean, you have to deposit uh, like $10,000, the equivalent. There are different amounts, but you have to deposit at the bank to be able to have a residence card, to have a full time like a retirement. There are different sections of visas, but you still have to like a deposit to the bank. So there are more depending on what country you are, you have to deposit less or more, or have different conditions in which you have to obey, of course. But you still have, you know, uh, you don't, as an expat, you don't have full rights and obligations. Just uh, which is different from being an immigrant. Immigrant, in some cases, if you're an immigrant in Europe or United States, Canada, your immigrant is considered a second class citizen. Let's get clear here. It's considered a second class citizen. It's nobody. I mean, they say when you swear to be a citizen of any of these Western countries, even Australia. I mean, any of these countries, you are, I mean, you have your citizenship card or certificate and everything, but still, you never uh, you're never considered a full like with full rights. I mean, you, according to the law, yes, but in society surrounding you, you still, and you're still like a out of a visitor, an immigrant. When they call you, when you say yourself that you're an immigrant in Europe or United States or Canada, what you're saying is that you are lower than the one who's born there. Because besides, you can't be a president of the United States, for instance, unless you're born there. So are you equal to the one that's born there? You are not. Even though if you have become a U.S. citizen, for instance, that's the law, that's the Constitution. So you are not the same. If you cannot become a U.S. president, like the one who's born there in the land, in mainland United States, you cannot become a president. So are you same, exactly same? No, you're not. Of course, we're all children of God, of course, the son of God, we're all the same. But in all these laws, and of course, we respect all the laws and constitutions. But so the difference, there's plenty. The difference are there. Being a tourist, and tourists don't care. I mean, they don't care about new guidelines. They don't care about the law of 2012. So of course there is a concern that people, tourists are not going to change their plans. perhaps we see, wait and see, right? That's the approach. Wait and see what happens. Of course, there's going to be less information because there is less social media guys, social media people, but broadcasting and promoting the country through their channel. I mean, YouTube channel. I mean, YouTube is. I mean, if you ask anybody, any visitor, any people who was planning to travel to the Philippines, how they know what they know about the Philippines and where to go. What's the main source of information? 70% is going to be telling you through YouTube, right? Oh, I found out about the Philippines. I found out about this island, this resort because of YouTube. Who are the YouTuber? We are the YouTubers. We have the channel, and we are the one telling the beauty of the land, the beauty of the more than 5,000 island, the Philippines, and the people. Of course, the people is the best asset, not the land, not the trees, not the banana trees you see here, not it's the people. I mean, if you cannot show people's faces, well, of course you can show it by with permission. Within permission, we have to follow the rules, the law. But now, getting back to the three types of three different statuses, right? Three different categories of being a tourist, only a tourist or an expat or an immigrant, right? I just told I broke it down. What is the difference, right? Besides, if you're just an expat, the barangay chief, of the places where you live, is gonna of course gonna he's gonna help you most likely if you have a situation in which you mistakenly, I mean you made a mistake by showing somebody's face or show a minor violation of the law, but it wasn't in purpose. If you can show really that in court, right, the court of law, I mean, that the mistake the error that was made, I mean, that you can get help from the barangay chief and have help from your neighbors. I mean, have witnesses. I mean, you can really still, but of course, there is no excuse by not, that you can't say that you didn't know the law because they are, publicizing in social media, in mainstream media. So everything has been public now, has been made public. The rules, the regulation, the guidelines, even the punishment. What's the punishment is going to be. So you can't ignore that. That it's been, there is a PR campaign about how to, how this law is going to be applied, from the proper agencies. So, going back to the issue of what the difference is, of course, once you have obtained that status of being an immigrant, right, being one of a Filipino citizen, with full rights and full obligation, and obeying, that you have swear to the Constitution and to the flag, to be loyal to the Philippines as a country, right? Just like everywhere else. I mean, if you become citizen of different country, you have to obey. If you have become, a citizen of Cambodia, which is very rare, also the rest of the Southeast Asian countries, it's very rare that people become foreigners becoming citizens of those countries either. But of course, there are less restrictions. Some of them has less restriction. Thailand has becoming really, there are so many restrictions now. There is so many requirements, and everything is about money. Collecting money because of this, deposit this to the bank. This, there are different, of course, condition, and it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a big business. Having 20 million people visiting your country, Thailand, or 15 million last year to the Philippines, and this year 2025 is going to be like more than 15 million. It's going to be, the increase has been 20% in some years, 15% increase in a yearly basis, by year. And who knows, this year is going to be most likely going to the 17 million visitors. We don't know. I mean, we know until things happen, right? Some people say maybe, tourists, many people are going to have a second look. But not, by with this new restriction guidelines, that doesn't apply, of course, for visit. I mean, it does apply unless the visitor, the tourist, I mean, taking pictures, taking this, and people showing their face and publicize them. So this is mostly for YouTubers, YouTube channels, and YouTubers in general, people using social media. Also from other, I mean, different social media, not just YouTubers. Right? So in Cambodia, for instance, if you travel, I mean, if you are becoming a Cambodian expat, an expat in Cambodia, right, living in Cambodia, Of course, there is some requirements too that you enter the country with a tourist visa, which is basically you on arrival you pay the $30 for that special the visa for like a tourist, right, for 30 days, and after that there's an extension for another month, right, 1 month extension, and you're out. Basically, you have to leave the country. That's and there is not that many restrictions about using social media, of course, unless there's special. Okay, of course there are some rules too. This applies for people who are using, I mean, exploiting, literally exploiting, and it can be proved in the court of law that that this like it could be criminal ring that people are using social media to do other things with different intentions, for monetary intentions, for exploitation, basically. But visitors can come, and that's one of the attractions of countries like Cambodia. Easy to visit because you just on arrival, from most countries, right? Almost, I was checking, the listing. I mean, this is endless country. I mean, almost except for 2 or 3 countries that can be, make their entering Cambodia, that they have to have a previous approval from in their embassy. Other than that, most people can just arrive with your passport, arrive to the to the airport. But you have to, of course, everyone, we have to check our what are the conditions for each nationalities previously. I mean, with the Cambodian embassy or with the website, the official website of the Cambodian government, or the Kingdom of Cambodia. Of course, they have different, system of government. Of course, it's a parliamentary government, and you have to check the website, to see what are the rules, what are the, how we can make it there, and how people can make it there. And once you arrive there, there's another visa, a special visa that's called the e-visa, of course, for retirement, or e-visa for business also, that in which people, depending of and for the retirement, for instance, only if the only requirement is that you are 55 years and older. There is no bank statement. There is no. I mean, the only requirement is you're 55 years old. I mean, and having, uh, uh, and that's what they call the e-visa, right? The ordinary visa, it's called. But if you want to retire, I mean, there's not even a pension slip. I mean, the Social Security, a copy of your Social Security check, or what is, not even a bank account. You just arrive, apply for it, and just follow the process. And there is an extension of the first month that, of course, there are different extensions. Different, once you arrive, you have 30 days. You pay the month for that EV is at 30, which is $35, and you pay it for the 1 month, and then you to any of the you can use any travel agency to extend it. You can there are four type of extensions. You can extend it for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. For the 1 month extension and 3 month extension, of course, there is only one. You can, when you leave the country. If you leave the country earlier than that, that's it. You can just travel back, and you can just come back. You can start. You can travel back, or you can come back to the country, to Cambodia. But then you have to, like, on arrival, you have to start from square one again. But if you have the 6 months or the 12 month extension, this is for the e visa for retirement, right? Then you can have multiple entries. Multiple entries meaning that you have which is cost like $300, and then basically you can spend 3 months, 4 months, or you can travel to Vietnam, to the neighboring countries for visit, or you can travel to your own home country and come back as much as you want, basically. And still the rule still is on, but of course you have to check. The rules is changing. The rules in guidelines, just like it changed just suddenly in June, the guidelines for YouTubers, for expats who are YouTubers, for YouTubers in general, of course. But this affects more, of course, for expats or visitors or people with a temporary visas in the Philippines, because that's the one who are helpless. I mean, it's I'm not gonna use a second class citizenship for expats or anything like that. That's the status. All I'm saying here is that you have less rights. Of course, there are less. It's a different status. Is it lower? Well, you can take. Of course, you don't have 100% rights. Of course, just like any other Filipino who's born in the land. So it's, in a way, it's like being a second class citizen. But in a way, yes, it does help you in some way because you have the help. If any situation, of course, the embassy is there to help. You have, and some embassies, even in the embassies, this is crazy. I mean, crazy in a way that, of course, there are powerful embassies, and some of the embassies from third world countries that will that with small staff, 3 or 4 guys working at the local embassy in Manila, how's gonna help you? I mean, to visit you if you have if you're in trouble somewhere in Mindanao. You think they have? I don't have the budget. I mean, small countries don't have the budget to send you know uh, a staff, a diplomatic staff, from that embassy to see you, to visit you, to help you. I mean, to find a lawyer but of course, if you are one of those citizens from a powerful embassy, so quote unquote, right? Powerful, I have a doubt about we are not, the thing about being a powerful embassy from a powerful country, where there's a natural disaster, we're all the same. I mean, if there's typhoon, the earthquake, the flooding, you're the same. There's no embassy can help you, no powerful embassy. But we know, like the German embassy is very powerful, the British, the American, the Canadian, all these countries with powerful embassies, Japan, I'm not just, Japanese embassy, South Korea embassy, these people will have plenty of staff, over 300 people working for them. They can help their own citizens, of course, with this powerful, so-called powerful embassy. If you're in trouble for these reasons, right, for not obeying the law, not that you made a mistake or there is a violation of these laws while you're still there, while you're still here, doing your YouTubing and trying to not to violate of the law. So by saying that, you can still have protection, of course. Get a good lawyer if you need it, but of course they're not. We haven't have hear anything about uh, in these new guidelines. June, well, August is the limit, and after that we're gonna see. And so most people have the approach, taking the approach to wait and see what happens. In the meantime, do your YouTubing safely. Don't change. We don't have to change really our approach, how you see our fellow Filipinos. I mean, we still, love them. They love you. I mean, we have blended, so and you see how it's important in cases like this, if you have the support of even witnesses, support of local people. So it's good to build a social basis. We don't come to this foreign land, these foreign countries, just to have to meet the wife, to meet a future wife, or to have to meet at the bar, or to enjoy the weather, to enjoy the. But I think the most important is blend with the rest of society, become one of them, one of meaning, learn the culture, try to learn the language a little bit. I know they speak English. I mean, Filipinos speak English, but eating their own meal, they even learn to eat the food, learn their costume, the culture and everything, and blend and just be just like them, equal meaning equal in every way. Of course, according to law, as you're being an expat, you're not equal, of course, to the person who was born in this land and in the Philippines. So, uh, but still, that'll help you. I mean, the priest. I mean, where if you attend church, who knows? I mean, the pastor or civic leaders can help you. Even elected leaders. If I'm in a situation like that, I mean, a letter, get a letter from the church, from the elected leaders, civic leaders. Make friends with local people. I'm not saying just isolate yourself. Of course, most expats get along with other expats. Most of our friends are other expats. I've been expat all my life too, all my life. I mean, but you have to make that connection, real connection, not fake, not just to take advantage or learn from asking things about, oh, how is this? No, just share your story too. Share how you can be helpful. Be genuine on those friendships with local people. So you become one of them. They become one of you, not just one of them, right? They become one just like you. They learn how to think like you. They learn to be on your shoes. You learn to be on their shoes too, by blending, by sharing your story. We all, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, even coming from different cultures, different color skin. But that's what separates people. I mean, being the ethnicity, people. I mean, if you learn to be ethnic, uh, having ethnic issues in your home country, you took that with you to the Philippines, and the most likely, I mean, there's no way. If you think that immigrants or undocumented people in your country are lower class, lower class people that or second, third class people, third class citizen. That's the thing that you bring. It's harder to blend in with in a different. You now as an expat, now you become an expat. You are the one trying to be an immigrant, trying to be permanent. The land that you love, that's the country now you call home, right? We call home. I mean, if you call home the Philippines, that's home now. And guess what? Now you did one of the best parts. There plenty uh, of time on your hands because you retire. Maybe you're an expat. You are a digital nomad. Now the best thing that you enjoy being a YouTuber, right? Now things are getting a little complicated, and guess what? We all have to adjust to a new situation. So just I'm adjusting to the breezy that's for it start raining, but I'm enjoying kind of little nature here, and we have to just hold on to whatever we can in the land where we live, like in the Philippines or Latin America, Mexico. Hold on to to those items that I just mentioned, the people, the civic leaders, elected, officials. I mean, of course, that if you haven't done in purpose, that with with no bad intention, made a mistake. But just like these little plants that you see here, this squash plant that I'm gonna just show you for a minute, how this squash plant or vegetable pear, some people call it vegetable pear, how it's holding on. You see how when it was born, when I was planted here, the one that couldn't make it, you see all dying here is because they couldn't go through there and hold on to anything. So there is the empty here. But the one that's holding on to this, you see the line here, that's part of is the one expanding and surviving. You see how it came all this way here and is holding on to this banana tree. You see, this is the squash plant, you see, but it found the way. You see this line here is holding on to survive. To survive. The one that couldn't survive are those couldn't hold on to nothing, empty, just being a tourist or just being, fake expat. But this one, I'm just making a little comparison that was able to hold on to this banana tree is still alive and it's coming here and holding on to this line. You see how this line is going, and this most likely this plant, this squash plant is going to be traveling through this line, this string, and stay alive. And of course, you see how beautiful green it's becoming. Even the one that I have a pick here, you see how this squash plant is been holding on to this stick, this pick, which is a tool, for landscaping tool. So it's going around and holding on to, and just keep traveling and moving. That's the way we should go. You see how this is moving here? Most likely this is gonna hold on to this tool to survive and keep going and going and going. So that's the way. There's a little comparison the guys are making to end my video. So thanks for watching. This is the way we need to hold on as an expat to allow to survive, and not just survive and enjoy life in a foreign country, wherever we are. Take care, my God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.